What's shaking, Bacons? It has been a harrowing 48 hours. Um, I lost all sense of time. But there are some things I wanted to talk about. Number one, male loneliness. It's a real plague. It's a real plague. It's a real thing. You know, I was just talking to my friend, and I was telling him about a dating app and how, you know, you're honest, you're trying to use it in the right way. And I told him, I said, I don't think all the people who replied back are real people, because it all seems very like if you send a message that says, hey, blah, 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 this is something specific that you would expect them to reply to. You know, that's usually how conversations work. Something in what you say directly relates to what they respond with. But that's not how it works. The response you get will be like a cordiality, like you've made it more personal than a cordiality, so you don't expect a cordiality back. You expect something more personal back. That's how communication works. And for me, it's a red flag if I say something that has something personal in it and somebody doesn't respond to that. That's a red flag. That means that they're either wrapped up in themselves and they're worried about what they're going to say and how they look, and they're not seeing that they should want to look connected. You want to look connected to that other person, you know? So you latch on to what they've said and you respond to it. Fish on, right? So, I don't think the dating websites are good. And I told him, I said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And so I said, well, I've been giving it some thought. I've been giving this thought. And I think that we're not real people. We're not real people unless we have a bubble that we've created online. Because the bubble makes you real in today's world. The bubble, and what I mean by the bubble is your social persona, your Facebook account, your Instagram account, all those ways that you communicate with people in the world. You're in a bubble. You're in an app. But let's call it a bubble because the visual is more apt. The visual it's easy. And because the bubble can travel. And that's what I noticed today. And I was telling my friend, I said, listen, I noticed this today. You know, the weather's really nice here right now. So I drive around with my windows down, the music's on, you know, I'm doing my errands, and I'm ready to be a good neighbor. I want to be neighborly. I want America to be a neighborly place, a friendly place. So if I see somebody walking their dog and we make eye contact, I wave. Like, hey, have a nice day, you know. I live in the neighborhood. Have a nice day. I don't say that, but that's the sentiment. The sentiment is, have a nice day. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're enjoying the outside like me. We have something in common. And we love our city. And we love our country, you know. I want that spirit in my community. And so I try to do that, you know. To do that. As much as Frankenstein's monster can do that, you know. And so here I am driving around, and I realize these people, some of them don't wave back. And listen, I'm not going to be a freak about it, you know. I'm not going to be a real monster about it, demand they answer back. You know, it's a culture like that has to be developed and cultivated. It's a sprout. It has to sprout and grow. You have to tend to it, you know. It doesn't just happen, and you can't make people do it. But I realize all these people are walking around in a bubble because they either have their phone bubble with their app bubbles, or they have their headphone bubble on that puts them in their own bubble, their own music, their own genre, they're not even in the community, you know. They could be listening to bongo music, you know. They could be Hindu kushing out somewhere, you know, snake charming. I don't know, but they're certainly not in North Central Phoenix, because I'm in North Central Phoenix and I have my music on, but I don't have the bubble on. You know? I'm trying to share my groove, not shut my groove out from everybody else. You know, I want to share my groove. Doesn't anybody want to share their groove anymore? Oh my gosh, you know. But hallelujah, you know, the Lord is still the Lord. And it's easy to forget, you know. And I've been telling him, I've been like, Lord, I've been really angry lately. And, you know, the Spirit will say in my heart, be angry and do not sin. I'm like, okay. So if I get mad at somebody, it's their blessed day because I start praying for God to bless them. You know, if I get angry at you, I'm going to bless you. Sucks. I'm just kidding. You know, I want to be a good soldier for the Lord. Right? That means you get blessed when I get pissed at you. But anyway, so here I am in my bubble, you know. I'm putting my best bubble forward. And I was telling my friend, I said, you know, one of the benefits of the bubble, though, you know, one of the personal, like selfish, one of the things you personally, I guess it's not really selfish because this is going to help. You're going to like this. I hope the sound is good on this. But listen, here's one of the benefits of creating a bubble and filming yourself. Even if you don't expose your bubble to the world, okay? Say you don't expose your bubble to the world. Say you just do the bubble for you. And here's the benefit. Here's the therapeutic benefit of doing a bubble for yourself. You get to see yourself speaking. You get to see your face and the expressions you make when you speak. And here's the thing that I think is going to happen. I think you're going to like yourself a little more. And we need a little bit more of that. Because I think the reason sometimes people are so mean to other people is because they really don't like themselves. I started noticing it in myself, you know, because the day after I get out of surgery, I get on myself like I'm a pussy for not going to the gym. I'm down on myself, you know. It's the Polak in me. Gravity pisses me off because I'm a Polak and I want to win. Polak, okay? And I realized that subconsciously then, in my mind, I'm either placing myself above other people who would say no rest, and I'm thinking to myself, what a pussy. Get up. You can't do that. Can't do that, you know. Our God isn't a drill sergeant up there, right? Like I was telling I don't know if I was telling somebody who's prone to monkery or prone to self-flagellation or whatever, you know, flogging themselves. You don't pursue suffering in this world, right? You can't manufacture it. You can't manufacture Jesus. The suffering will find you, my friend. Suffering will find you. But anyway, back to the bubble. So one of the benefits of the bubble is that you will, I hope, you know, develop your personality. Develop a personality that you would want. Be the face that you want approaching you. You want a friendly face, right? In the world, it depends on what realm you're existing in. Like Melania Trump told Barron Trump not to smile in public because it looks weak. And she's right. A man should not be open and welcoming in that realm that Barron Trump exists in. That's not the place. Okay? It's all business. That doesn't mean he's not kind. Okay? There's a difference between nice and there's a difference between kind. We've talked about that before. I'm not going to get into it now. I'm in pain. But, so, create a bubble and find those things, become those things that you want to see in others. And you know, that's kind of a nice way to think about it, right? That you're looking for things in others that you find kind. And then you want to emulate what you've seen in that other person in yourself. And you can practice now. You can practice now. And you're not being a phony baloney. No, you're not being a phony baloney. If you really think about it. The phony baloney is someone who floats around not knowing what's going on, you know? Because then you're just going to latch on to whatever cliche or whatever thing from the day is makes you acceptable to other people. You're going to latch on to the latest new craze or the new word. You're not developing a real person. Now, this is very therapeutic. It'll help you develop a real person with real positions and real confidence, you know, to put your best foot forward, your best personality forward. I was telling my friend this too. See, I think about this stuff too much, but, you know, maybe back in our day, back in the mid to the late 20th century, the 1900s, there were people called celebrities. They were great propagandists, and they did it well and with style and class. Because what they were worth, and we would call them, people would refer to them as personalities or celebrities. Oh, how did he make his money? He's a personality. How did she make her money? She's a celebrity. All that is they're selling their personality. Well, you don't have to sell your personality on stage. You could sell your personality in your life, right? Even if it is being the one that everybody wants to come to the birthday party or being the one that everybody wants around. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're developing it in a godly way, you know, in the sight of Christ with him right there. And I'll tell you, he's got a great sense of humor. Look at me. Look at me. You know? I don't pity I have no pity for me, you know? I run a little hot. Sometimes I run a little too cold, but at least I'm hot or cold. Jeez Louise. You know, it's fascinating to me. And this is part of the fruits of the bubble. It's fascinating to me. I don't even question it anymore. It's rude of me to question how Jesus would love me, you know? It's rude. He's so... How full of yourself do you have to be to question the love of Christ for you, right? Right? Well, I hope that I can be the kind of neighbor. Oh, I do have a great neighbor story. It's really terrible. This is going to be a personal confession. And come to think of it, I'll probably confess this at the altar. So today the doorbell rings. And usually that gets my ire up, you know. Because I was a salesman and I don't like salesmen. So I go to the door there, ready to do battle. And it's a smaller Asian fellow, nice looking fellow, handsome fellow, you know. He was put together. And then it must have been his daughter or his wife with the dog on the sidewalk there. And he says, I'm your neighbor. And I said, oh. Guys, I've lived in the same place for a decade or more, you know, and I never met this guy. Shame on me. And they said, oh, well, I'm glad to meet you. And I said, what's going on? And he says, well, my name is something Khan. And I said, your name's Khan? And he said, yeah. And I said, Khan, nice to meet you. And he said, listen, I tried to get him to come later, but they're coming to pour concrete in the morning. And I said, listen, they can drive up in the front yard with their trucks if they want. I'm a good neighbor, and I'll never complain. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. And I'm glad to have met you. And now I'm going to have to do something nice for him because I was such a schlub, and this brave man came up to Boo Radley's front door, right? I'm the guy in the neighborhood. They're like, who's that guy? You know? You'd do a lot worse if you were in trouble than to knock on my door. If you're in trouble, this is where you want to be. I'll make sure you're safe. Listen, So Khan's getting a new front yard put in. That means I got to get my guy to come and fix the yard up, because when that's done, I can't have weeds in my front yard, you know. But, you know, I hope this recorded well, and I hope you get something out of this. I hope you find the nuggets to mine yourself a bubble. So, but here's the thing. This bubble you create, but you can't take the bubble with you. When you go out in public, you got to lose your bubble. You got to be an infectious groove, you know. You yourself, be an infectious groove. Want to share and want others to share. So, like, be eager to share, but be eager to receive. This is America. Let's pop bubbles. Let's pop bubbles in public, you know. Let's come together. We all bleed red, white, and blue, you know. We all bleed red, white, and blue. You know, we're all forgiven by the same God and Savior, right? Jesus. So anyway, with that, go in peace and serve the Lord. Like and subscribe. Nuke Lutheran.